why is it that some information that you read, you can remember very well? And why is it that some information you read 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and you still find it very difficult to remember? So the sort of rule of thumb here is that the more relevant it is for you, the more likely you are to remember it. But that's not very useful because you can't force your brain to find something relevant. If you read something and you don't feel like it's relevant, you can't just be like, make it relevant, and then therefore you just remember it. Otherwise, learning will be very, very easy. So there are certain things we need to do to almost trick our brain into thinking that it is relevant. And there are multiple ways that we can do this. You can try to relate it to your own practice, your own experience. So let's say that you are a great swimmer and you are amazing at swimming and you're very competitive. So you think a lot about the breathing technique and exactly how to do every single stroke. And then let's say that you read something about education or about employability and you think, oh, this concept really reminds me of a training method that my coach taught me when I was swimming. So that would be potentially one way that you would be able to make it relevant for yourself.
So here are 3 things that you can do to help you learn anything much faster. And that will apply whether you're at school, at work, or even learning a skill that's been challenging for you. The first thing I want you to do is engage as many senses as possible. At one of our events called Amplify, we do the first night over dinner. So we get to eat, experience the food and the emotion of the food, and learn the lesson at the same time. The second thing you can do is to somehow create an emotional connection to the learning. Think ahead as to how this might help you grow your business or anything you can do to get emotionally connected to it. And the reason behind that is your emotional centers are really at the gateway to long-term memory. When emotions, values, and principles are involved, you remember things. And the last thing you can do is make it experiential. Experience actually adds stress, and a small amount of stress helps you increase the relevancy, the emotional connection, and helps you retain that information, especially if you can learn while actually doing the work. If you can apply that work, make it experiential, your learning goes through the roof.
This is how when I read a textbook, I absorb the information in it like a sponge. Now, if you have an exam on your textbook or any body of text, save this for later because this method will get you an A+. So first, open up your chapter that you need to study or chapters. This right here is mine. First, what I'll do is I'll skim the pages of the chapter, just getting to know what it's about, seeing the graphs, etc. Then, go to the end of the chapter and find the summary or quiz, depending on your textbook. Now, you may not have one, but this is what I'll do if I do have one. Go to the conclusion and there it is. Summary. I will read the summary and the quiz questions first. Then go back to the beginning of your chapter. So you'll focus on any bold prints, topic headings, subheadings, anything that you can find that's in bold like this. Now go back again, and as you start reading, because you will obviously have to read, you will start by reading the first sentence and last sentence of each paragraph and then continue by reading the whole thing. Now this seems daunting, but if you do this, you will save so much time rather than rereading and rereading again because you're like, oh, I just read this and I don't know what it's about. I just wasted my time and I have to start reading again. So don't you think it's a bit more productive for you to use your time wisely and use a method like this rather than, read over and over again? Trust me, try this out and you will thank me later.
Tricks to learn anything faster right now. Focus for only 20 to 25 minutes. Take a break for 1 to 5 minutes. Then start again. It's called the Pomodoro technique. Your brain remembers better in short bursts.
As a college student, one of the things I dislike the most is when a professor is like, go read the textbook, and it's like 50 chapters of jumbled words that don't make sense. Personally, I don't have time for that, and it's not the best way for me to recall information. With Unriddle AI, you can upload PDFs of your textbooks or copy and paste text directly in there and ask it questions based on your learning objectives to help you narrow down the most important information. As a Harvard pre-med student, I find practice questions really helpful when practicing active recall, so I'll ask it to make me practice questions. AI is such a game changer for studying when used correctly, so make sure to try this out.
What if I told you up until now you've been reading textbooks the wrong way? To read faster and to better understand the text, go backwards. Start by looking at the conclusion of the chapter, look at all of the headings, and only then read the introduction. As you read, highlight, underline, take notes, and ask yourself questions. And at the end of every 10 pages or so, pause to see if you can summarize what you have just read.
So very quickly, I want to actually share 4 very useful websites for graduate students and PhD students, people who are currently doing some research or doing their thesis or whatever the case is. These are 4 websites you definitely want to check out. The first one is Our Discovery. Our Discovery basically uses literature search and it helps students and researchers find and read research papers that are actually related to what they're actually looking for. And it's free, but then there's also paid things that you can do with it. The second one is Litmaps. Litmaps actually uses something called semantic analysis. It's basically AI driven, right? And it helps you find articles and similar content. And it also helps you with literature discovery and helps you identify, just literature management, citations, things that you need that will help you actually make that research paper you're writing even better. And it also has free and paid features. The third one, and this is probably the most important one, is called White Rose's eThesis Online. This website will give you access to theses from the University of Leeds, Sheffield, and York by department and year, properly collated, and the content can be accessed for absolutely free. And the last one is one I've talked about before, Research Rabbit. It connects you to research interests related to the articles that you're submitting and other authors, and the tool actually allows you to create collections based on your research focus, and it's completely free to use. And this is something that you need to check out if you're currently writing your thesis or your research papers, and you need a little help, just inspiration, I don't know. Again, you don't copy verbatim, you just use this stuff to guide you to help you do better. You're welcome.
As a uni teacher who often has to ask students to use research in their assignments, this one website is probably the main thing that my students just live on the whole time they're writing assignments. And that website is called Connected Papers. Connected Papers, oh my gosh, I wish I knew about this when I was in uni. Sadly, I've only learned about it now that I'm trying to research for my PhD. Is incredible. Not only can you use it to search multiple databases at the same time, but you can use it to build a graph, and it will show you how different papers and different ideas are connected, or if there's newer ones, older ones, and generally what the kind of like the literature in that area is saying and what they think, or like, are there two sides? Are there people being like, no, it's this, no, it's that? Connected Papers can tell you. So how to use Connected Papers, you might ask? Well, the first thing you're going to do is get up the Googles, and we're going to type in Connected Papers because everything with me is super complicated. Wow, my arm looks so skinny right now. It's like taking the edge off. Anyway, once you've Googled that, you're going to see a bunch of different suggestions, and see that little purple guy that I've clicked like this? We're going to click that like right now. And that will bring us to our homeland. No, it's going to bring us to a search bar. And on this page, I couldn't connect everything. It tells us all the things you can use Connected Papers to do. Essentially, it's the things I told you about in the beginning. So it's going to help us to actually find journal articles. It's going to show us graphs. It's going to show us origins of research, all of these kinds of things. So now all we have to do is type in a topic. I chose mind wandering because this is something I've been looking at lately for my research. So now that I've typed that in, you can see there's a bunch of suggestions. So if I wanted to, I could click on one of those. There's suggestions for journals. But instead, for this video, let's click build a graph, and boom, we have a graph. How fucking sick is this? All those little circles are all different journal articles. On top of them all is the date that they were published. They're all different colors. They have lines connecting them. What does this mean, you might ask? Well, I'll explain it, but first, for when I'm not with you, there is a little like question mark thing over, I can't point without losing my finger, this corner, and we're going to click on that. Bam. Okay, so in this little box, I can't quite read it off my screen, but I'm pretty sure it says that all the different little circles have different colors. The different color will indicate the year of publication. There's a full scale over here. The lines connecting the papers refer to them being similar. So papers with a line are similar. It doesn't mean they've cited each other. The stronger the line, so the thicker it is, the more similar they are. The size of the circle refers to how many times people have cited that work. So you can use all of that information to help you, figure out which one you want to look into. So now we've got all of this, what do? Well, we'll have a quick look, and maybe we'll start clicking on some shit. So you can see I've got one up. I'm trying to like not move. You got that one there with the little pink thing. So that's the paper I've currently clicked on. You can't see it on the screen right now. TikTok keeps covering it. There's a little toggle up here, and we're going to click on it. So there he is. There's the toggle. Hey, toggle. So that little pink guy, here's his little abstract. Okay. If we wanted to at this point, we could just go to one of the little databases up here, and those little icons, we could click on it and we could go straight to the paper if we wanted to. Something we could do first if we like is there's a toggle on the left, and we can also click this one. Ciao! Now we have the origins of the paper. Look at all this information. I love looking at this. So when I'm doing research like this, I'll probably just bounce between a few, and I'm kind of getting all these abstracts of things that are connected. Maybe I'll have a look at the guys neighboring someone, or maybe I find one I like, and then I know I can look at the ones next to him because they're probably going to be something I like. Cool. So I'm sure you're wondering, how much does this all cost, Nirvana? Is this super expensive? Well, let's have a look and see, hey? Yes and no. There's a free option, which is the one I use because I'm a broke bitch. So if you're a broke bitch, it's okay. We're fine. We're the thing. We're the family. We're together in this. But I do have students who have actually paid for the subscriptions and they love them. They're fantastic. The main difference is that with the free one, you only get 5 graphs a month. But I honestly use it as a search engine most of the time anyway. Or maybe I'll get that first graph and I'll use that to tell me like where I need to be looking and what kind of people have the right ideas or what kind of words I should be like looking for after looking at titles of papers I like. It'll just start giving me the right language. But yeah, don't feel pressured to pay for things if if that's not really something you feel like you want to do. If it's what you want to do, I love that. Guys, let me know if you've got any other questions you want me to answer, but also if you've got any other websites that are even better than this one, let me know or let someone else know, whatever. But for now, bye!
Want to know a secret method to get research papers easily to get your assignment done within a day? Go to Google and search for answerthepublic.com. This is how the website will look like. Now go search for any topic relevant for your assignment. You will get many topics which are relevant to the subject that you just searched. Select any topic you like which you think will help your assignment, and it will direct you to websites and journals relevant to the topic you selected. Give this a try and let me know if it was helpful. Follow me for more assignment hacks.
Here's my advice on how to stay disciplined and on top of your schoolwork. You'll definitely feel this if you're first transitioning from high school to college, but you'll very quickly learn that no one is on top of you to get your work done. Your professors aren't going to call your mom or schedule a meeting with your parents when you're not turning your work in. You have absolutely free will to get up and leave from a lecture if you don't feel like being there, and no one will bat an eye. It takes a lot of work to kind of find a routine that works for you, but once you do and you get the hang of it, it becomes very easy to stay on top of your work after that. No one is motivated 100% of the time, but reminding yourself that the only thing that's standing in the way of getting the work done is you. When it comes to procrastinating, and I know I have an assignment that I really don't want to do or it's a huge project, I will do what I think the worst one is first. Once you get that one out of the way, everything else feels like a breeze to go through. I also recommend you try to stay as organized as possible. Make lists, keep a whiteboard on your desk, keep an organizer, keep your agenda, whatever you need to do. Put things on your calendar, take your assignments and put it in an Excel sheet. Whatever you need to do to remind yourself of the due dates and what needs to be done first is going to help you in the long run. Give yourself breaks. I used to sit and do work for 4 hours in one sitting, and I would feel so insanely drained when I would try to take a 20-minute break and then go back to work. I wouldn't want to go back to it. Take breaks frequently. You're going to be more motivated to go back and finish the work. So I would say maybe for every 30 minutes of work, take a 10-minute break. When I have something I really want to do during the day, I use that as an incentive. So I'll tell myself that I can do it after I finish my work. And you have to keep your word on that. Another thing that keeps me going is how great I feel after being productive for a really long time. So when I'm on a streak and I'm sitting down and I'm finishing all my assignments, I feel really great after. That makes me want to do more of that. I want to be more productive. You really have to hold yourself responsible and accountable and keep reminding yourself that you're the only thing that's in between what needs to get done and it not getting done.